Okay, so hi and a very good day to everyone. First of all, I'm so grateful because today everyone is able to participate in this interview session with our friend from another country to have a discussion on our different cultures that we have in our specific country. So before we start with our discussion, let me introduce ourselves first. We are students from the Management and Science University here in Malaysia, and our university had actually been established in the year of 2001 and became a fully fledged university in the year of October in the year 2007, I think, in the month of October. So as for our introduction, like mentioned by Alif before, is that we are students in this particular university and currently taking the subject of Islamic civilization and civilization of Asia. So consisting of me, Faris Azin, Faris Amin, Ikmal Fikri, Alif Adli, Husna, Kanagesh, Sarvam, and also Vidya. So now let us start with the introduction to our country, which is Malaysia.
Hi, my name is Kangesh. So I'm going to explain about the culture in Malaysia. Malaysia is a multicultural society with Malays, Chinese, and Indians living side by side. The Malays are the largest community. They are mostly Muslims, but there are Christians and Hindus among them. The Malays speak Bahasa and are largely responsible for the political fortune of our country. The Chinese comprise about a third of the population. There are Buddhists and Taoists speak Hokkien, Hakka, and Cantonese and are dominant in the business community. There are mainly Hindu Tamils for southern India. They speak Tamil, Malayalam, and some Hindi and live mainly in the larger town on the west coast of the peninsula. So next, races in Malaysia. The Malaysia population consists of people of different races. The largest group of Malaysia consists of three main races, which is Malays, Chinese, and Indians. Orang Asli are the natives in Peninsula Malaysia, and it's generally divided into three major groups, namely the Negrito, Sinoy, and Proto-Malay. Sabah population consists of 32 ethnic groups, and the major ethnic is Kadazan, while Sarawak population consists of 27 ethnic groups, and Iban is the major ethnic group. And lastly is religion of Malaysia. The different type of religion in Malaysia reflect that variety of races living there. Islam is the official religion, but Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity and other religions are practiced freely. Islam is practiced predominantly by the Malays. That's all from me. Thank you. Next.
Okay, Vidya, proceed.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to talk about how Malaysia is formed. So before the formation of the Malayan Union in 1946, the territories were not placed under a single unified administration, with the exception of the immediate post-war period when a British military officer became the temporary administration of Malaya. Instead, British Malaya comprised the state settlements and the federal Malay states and the unfederal Malay states. Under British hegemony, Malaya was one of the most profitable territories of empire, being the world's largest producer of tin and later rubber. Then the Union of Malaya was unpopular, and in 1948 it was dissolved and replaced by the Federation of Malaya, which became fully independent on 31st August 1957. On 16 September 1963, the Federation along the North Borneo, which is Sabah, Sarawak, and Singapore, formed the largest federation of Malaysia. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Alif, proceed.
All right, Ben. Awesome. So now we're going to come bit onto you, Ben. So basically what I'm going to do is just going to ask a bit about yourself, your name, your race, your religion that you follow, as well as where you're from. And a bit of what you're currently studying or what you're currently doing in terms of work, or where you have previously studied before this, that's doable too. And also, what programs or studies have you enrolled in the past or in the future coming up for you?
Yep. So yeah, my name is Ben. I am Australian by nationality. By ancestry, I'm Australian and half Polish. I'm a Christian. I've lived in Australia my whole life. I studied in Melbourne, Swinburne University of Technology, IT and business. And so now I'm working for Australia's major telecommunications provider, Telstra. And so I am a software engineer there. So I do lots of coding for them. I have no plans for any additional formal education at the moment, but you know, it may happen in the future, depending on what road I want to go down for my career. Yeah, and is there anything that I missed, Alice?
No, I think that's pretty much it. And where was your previous university then? So before this?
So where was Swinburne University?
Yeah, Swinburne.
Yeah, so Swinburne University was about I think 15-20 minutes east of Melbourne. So in the city of Melbourne.
So it's in the city as well, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Cool. Very nice. That's good to know. And we'll move along with Ikmal. We've got some questions for you on the country, basically on Australia or just Melbourne per se. So our mates are going to continue with the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh, hi Ben. My name is Ikmal.
Hi.
I have a couple questions on the country of Australia for you. So first question is, what are the available culture and religion in your country?
What is the predominant culture and religion?
Yes.
So traditionally, Australia has been more of a Christian country, obviously having a lot of its ties back to British settlement and a lot of British immigration. But I believe now it is, I think, roughly, I think almost half of the population is now, I believe, atheist or agnostic. But the biggest part of the population is still Christian, with a big increase on, I think, Islam and a little bit of Hinduism increase as well.
So the next question is, how do these different cultures and religion interact amongst each other?
So overall, it's pretty peaceful. Throughout our education, we grow up. So I grew up with people of all different nationalities and cultures and beliefs, and so yeah, back from as early as I can remember, our schools have been celebrating things like Harmony Day, celebrating different people's cultures, different holidays, and so it's a very important part of our culture to be accepting of everyone for who they are, not only for their religion, but yeah, their skin color, their sexual orientation, and so forth, their gender, whatever. Australia prides itself on being as fair and accepting of all as possible. Obviously, you know, as all in all places, it doesn't work out 100%. There are some cases where some racism or some sexism or anything like that, it still exists. But I believe the culture of trying to stop it and to minimize it as much as possible is stronger than ever. Yeah, I'd say overall Australia is a pretty tolerant country. It is known for rural and more kind of heavily Australian population kind of areas to be a little bit less accepting of different cultures, but I would say that is very, very minimal, and yeah, it'd be really rare to find a place like that in Australia.
Thank you, Ben. Next is Faris Amin is going to ask some questions for you.
Hi Ben, my name is Faris Amin, and I want to ask, have you heard of our country, Malaysia, or have you been to our country before?
Yeah, I have. I have been to Malaysia before, and I have definitely heard of it. I'd even heard of it before meeting Aleph as well. When I met Aleph in year 9, back when I think it was about 10 years ago.
10
roughly.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I visited Malaysia, I think about 8 or 9 years ago as well.
That's okay. Now I pass to Ali for the next question.
Cool. All right. So just coming back on the question from Amin as well, Ben. I think what was your first impression of our country, like Malaysia as a whole, in terms of the culture, and what do you think about the hospitality that Malaysians show, and just the overall that you find or maybe the difference between both countries, if you can see any. And of course, what is the best part of your country that you will be proud to be an Australian? So yeah.
So some of the first things that I noticed was I felt like it was cleaner. Like there was, in Australia you can sometimes see litter, and Malaysia it was very clean. I don't think I saw a single piece of graffiti in Malaysia, which not like, I know that there is in Melbourne there is quite a love for street art, but I'm more so meaning just the random kind of defacing of property. I didn't see that at all in Malaysia, and I loved that that sign of cultural respect for other people's property. Whereas in Australia, that is it's a lot more frequent. I found the people very, very friendly. I felt like as Australians we come with a bit of energy and excitement, and so all the Malaysians that I met were up for that energy. Kind of showing their culture as well, dancing, food, really being as welcoming as possible, and it made it. It made friendships, and I think that's the key to life. Good people, and Malaysia had great people. What am I proud about in Australia? I'm proud of our values in general. Looking after people. A lot of volunteerism. People helping to fight bushfires, people just helping in the community. I think that's great. I think our progress is something to be proud of. I think Australia does an okay job at also helping with foreign aid and helping other countries. I think obviously more can be done, but I think Australia overall is a country that wants to help, that wants to make the world a better place, and that's something I'm very proud of Australia for.
Definitely, Ben. Cheers a lot for that explanation. Next up will be from our friend Husna. So she'll be just asking you about the current situation affecting the whole world, basically, but more so on how it's affecting Australia as a whole. So yeah, over to you, Husna.
Okay. Hi, Ben. I'm Husna. I'm Nurul Husna. Okay, I'm gonna ask you about how your country handle this global pandemic of COVID-19.
Yeah, so our country handled it via our state government mechanisms, and so that meant that the leaders of our state are premiers, and the premiers and the chief health medical officers for each state were generally the two key people deciding what each state does. In Victoria, unfortunately, they had some mistakes and some mishandling of the hotel quarantine program, which was bringing in both Australian residents, citizens, and international students back into Australia, so that they could undergo 2 weeks of quarantine in a hotel and then kind of go back into society. And so, unfortunately, that started a second wave of coronavirus in Victoria, and so that locked down Victoria pretty harshly in the end. And so, yeah, a lot of states have also done border closures, which is very, very weird for Australia. It hasn't happened for, I believe, over 100 years since a state border has been closed. And so, yeah, it's been, I think, a little, even though each state has been taking it on, I think it would have been nice to take it on as Australia. I feel like coronavirus divided Australia into states, and states were starting to, fight each other a little bit. But in the end, states were able to sort it out. They were able to close their borders. They were able to kind of bring down community transmission. And today, there's one case in Victoria, whereas 3 months ago, I believe there was kind of up 5 figures in the tens of thousands of Victorians infected with coronavirus. So yeah, it's been a long lockdown. I think Melbourne had the harshest and longest lockdown in the world, but Melbourne is generally one to try and govern its way out of it, and so by locking down people for a longer amount of time and less freedoms for those few months, we were able to, I think, kind of get rid of it completely. And today they just announced the easing of restrictions further, where we can have up to 15 people at home, like at our homes from tomorrow. And so, yeah, one more step on December 13th, we should have all the restrictions gone and face masks completely gone, and we should be able to live a normal kind of life from here on. So, yeah, a lot of people have disagreed with it. A lot of people agreed with it. But fortunately, we have a democracy where we're able to choose our leader, and our leader was able to take the approach that they wanted to take.
Thank you for your sharing. I will pass to Salvam.
Yeah, hi Ben, my name is Sarvam, and regarding the pandemic, does this pandemic make a drastic change in your country's welfare in terms of the country's development?
Yes, it does. So our government was able to put in measures of kind of social welfare for people who lost their jobs, and so obviously because so many people lost their jobs, it cost a lot of money, and so Australia will be in, I believe, in a couple of years, over $1 trillion in debt, and so yeah, there is definitely a lot of a cost that this has had to Australia. I'd say most being Melbourne and Victoria, from businesses shutting down completely and the economy slowing down in Victoria. So yeah, both the cost in trying to get the economy to be to grow back to where it was before COVID, but then also for the next 20 to 30 years, we'll be probably paying higher taxes to cover the $1 trillion of debt that we have gone into to stay afloat.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass it to Faris.
All right. So basically, hi Ben, my name is Faris. We can come to a conclusion that both of our countries have different cultures, races, and also religions, right? And however, there are also a few similarities, like like you mentioned before, like there are also Hinduism in your country, like the same as ours. And but we can tell that there are quite significant difference in which our country has the national religion, I think, of Islam in comparison to your country is Christian, right? So both of our country also had been facing serious impact due to the global pandemic. And I think in Melbourne or even in Australia, things starting to cool down, is it?
Mm.
Because currently in Malaysia, the cases are still rising. Like all of a sudden, it starts rising again. So we hope that one day, once this pandemic is over, maybe we can meet each other, like Alif lah, to see Alif can meet, and you can also come to visit Malaysia quite often. Because when was the last time you visited Malaysia? 9 years?
2011, I think it was.
Oh my God, now that was way long ago. You need to come to Malaysia because things have changed a lot. New skyscrapers are being built, but due to this global pandemic, things started to change in both of our countries. And I think that's pretty much it for the interview. Like literally, that's pretty much about it. Thank you, and it was a pleasure to have you here, having this interview.
Yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you all too.
Okay,
it was
everyone.
great meeting you.
Awesome, Ben. Cheers.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot for
Ben.
the help, mate.
No worries, and awesome Aussie Wallaby shirt too.
I got you there.
Excellent. All right. Well, best of luck
Cheers,
with
mate.
your assignment, and yeah, I'll definitely talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
We'll catch up soon then.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye
Ben.
bye.
Thank you, Ben.
Hey, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Inas. So, hi, man. Basically, right now, I'm just going to make you do a bit of an introduction about yourself. So basically, your name, your race, your religion that you have, and where you're from, basically. And also where you studying, or basically what are you doing at this current point of time, and where you studied before this, and what are your plans and endeavors in the future or in the coming future. So yeah, over to you, man.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Inaz Mohammed. I'm from Maldives. I'm 23 years old. Currently, I am in Maldives. I am working. I previously attended Taylor's University. I was doing my bachelor's degree. So I've been working for about a year, and it's a tough world out there, but struggling through. I am Muslim. I'm not sure whether all of you know, but Maldives is 100% Muslim country. So we don't actually, it's against the law to denounce your religion or practice other religions in the country. Yeah. Anything else?
Cool. And what are you currently doing in terms of progress?
Currently working at Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union. So yeah, in the IT department, yes.
All right, that's good, man. All right, and over to a couple more questions for you, to the next person.
All right.
Right.
You want me to follow the thing, right?
No, we're waiting for the other. Yeah.
Hi, Ines. My name is Ikmal. I have a couple questions on the country that you live, which is Maldives. So the first question is, what are the available culture and religion in your country? But you already answered it, which is 100% Muslim country, right? So I move to the next question.
I can actually elaborate more if you want.
Okay, sure, please.
Okay, so religion-wise, I think about 7 years ago, the president actually decided to put up a Buddhist statue. So a lot of people were against it, and after that, religion has become a very serious topic. We do have an extremist side as well. Being an Islamic country, every Islamic country has those extremists. So we've had a few religious, how do you say, arsonists in the name of God. Yeah, so we've had, religion is a very sensitive topic back home. In terms of culture, I would say the majority of people who grow up right now, students, kids, they all just move out of the country because in terms of education, we receive better education outside. So in that sense, a lot of people grow up without learning about the culture. We don't have any forms of learning online or articles and stuff. We don't have that. So we've lost a lot of the culture that once was. However, the current government is restoring old heritage sites as well. So based on culture, even I grew up since grade 2, I've been living outside of Maldives. So on culture, I can't really go further into detail about that. Yeah, back to you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Faris Amin is going to ask some more questions for you.
Hi Ines, my name is Faris Amin, and I want to ask you, have you heard of our country Malaysia, or have you been to our country Malaysia?
I've lived in Malaysia for a total of 6 years. Yeah.
Oh, so you're
yeah.
local. Okay, I see.
You can consider, yeah, you cut me, I'll bleed sambal, so yeah.
Wait, when was the last time you were in Malaysia?
This was at the end of last year, I guess. Yeah. So once I was done with my degree, I was looking around for a job, and then moved back home to join the private sector.
I see. All right. That's all for me. I pass to Alif for the next question.
Very cool. So Inas, so that you've been in both our countries, basically, you've been living in Malaysia for quite some time, doing your degree and finishing your studies, but also you've been back home in Maldives. Now you're continuing work back home. So what do you think the difference is in terms of the culture and stuff, and also what is something you think that is you can be proud of in Maldives, and you can stand up at stall and say that I love Maldives for this. Doesn't have to be anything with economy. It could just be anything, maybe culture or the nice beaches or just the tourism industry. Anything that you think you can be proud of Maldives.
Okay, so let me touch on Malaysia first. One thing that I've learned by living here is how open it is to culture. I know there's like a certain level of openness to other cultures, accepting. You have mixed kids. You have parents from different religions, different cultures, backgrounds getting married, having kids. So that is rarely seen in Maldives. You get a few, but it's less common than in Malaysia. So that's one of the differences I noticed every time I go back. It's less accepting of other cultures. It's very, how do you say, our older generations like to instill like how do you say, the old thinking, the old ways of thinking. So if the newer generation acts in a certain way, we would get lashed at. We would get how do you say it? The current word right now is cancel culture. So yes, that's very common in Maldives. Anyone who disagrees, say something against the norm, you're just cancelled. Yeah.
So pretty much in Maldives, you would say that they're more stuck in the older ways. Is that what you're trying to say? Like in terms of religion?
Very hard-headed people back in Maldives, yes.
Oh, okay.
So one great thing I could say is I actually appreciate the fact that we are known for as a holiday destination. So yeah, other than that, there's really nothing to be proud of when I think back. But, yeah. So being like if you consider the European market and the Chinese market, Maldives is one of the top destinations for holidays. if you go to a fair, you always see Maldives around. Yeah, you see all the packages and stuff. So it's kind of proud, you know, when you see something outside, when you're in another country and you see, oh, Maldives, everyone's going, you know, buying the tickets and stuff. Yeah. So that's something I can be proud of. Yeah.
Cool. So I will move on to our next interviewee. I'm gonna ask you about the current pandemic that's hitting us overall. So over to you.
Okay. Hi, Ines. My name is Nurul Hilalustna. I'm gonna ask you about the current situation in your country, about how they handle the situation, how the citizens handle the whole situation of the global pandemic of COVID-19.
Okay, I actually do have the latest, as of yesterday, 6 p.m. The total we have confirmed cases, 12,578. We have 11,559 recoveries. And because if you do know the geography of Maldives, we have the capital city, then we have the small islands. So the response from citizen first, the government did announce a lockdown. Everyone was against it. So because it's kind of our culture where in the evenings we go to other houses, we visit, or we go for coffee with friends, and out of nowhere, because of this pandemic, all this came to a halt. So people were really against it. At a certain point, as our main market is for our economy is tourism. So of course, due to COVID, borders had to be locked down when it first started out. The number of cases was ranging from at least 800, 900 a day. And when you think about it, this is just the capital island, which is a very secluded, about 1.6 miles in length. That is the longest distance on the capital, and it's very compact. So the chances of COVID actually spreading is very high. And even within this week, the past 3 days, the cases have been fluctuating. Currently, we are not in a lockdown, but there is a curfew from around 12 a.m. until 6 a.m., I think, yes. Because as usual, a lot of people work during the day and they like to go out at night. So in order to minimize that contact, so the government had announced that. We did open up our borders, I think in July. In July, because our economy was it was going very bad. So we had no choice but to open up our borders, and estimated, I think, over 1,000 tourists had visited the country itself within 1 month. And majority of the cases after the borders had opened had been imported cases. So the government currently, the Health Protection Agency, which is the main source of information for residents, they have been very vigilant and up to date, keeping us informed of methods of keeping us safe, how to distance yourself, what to do if you think you have been in contact with someone. So in terms of educating the public, the government has done a pretty good job. And residents and citizens and even tourists who come in, they are fully aware of COVID and its destruction. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your sharing. Sabo?
And so regarding the pandemic, does the pandemic make a drastic change in your country's welfare in terms of the country's development and also the economic growth in your country?
Okay, so as I was mentioning, the economy was since mid 2020, the economy was just on a spiral downwards. So we had no choice but to open up the borders. So our second main source of income in terms of economy for the country is export. We export a lot of fish. So these are how do you say, pole and line fishing. So it's the more environment friendly method of actually exporting, catching fish and exporting them. So that industry still has been going on. So slowly the economy is going up, businesses are opening up. Although some of them do allow dine-in with certain restrictions, majority of them have started catering to deliveries, online orders. We have recently seen a lot of plant shops pop up online on Instagram because Maldivians love their plants. Yeah. Other than that, economy growth, we had recently had, the government had initiated a project to open up a common, like a park in Maldives, in the capital city itself, to give residents, you know, because it's a very jungled up. If you have seen the pictures, it's literally a concrete jungle. So we need that kind of you know, trees, greenery, which we don't usually have. So when we think about it, the government is actually doing is still ongoing and doing their job in terms of providing for the citizens. Yeah. So the economy is slowly picking up, but at a very slow pace. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, Grace.
All right. So basically, to conclude our discussion, we can tell that both of our countries have different cultures, races, and also religion, right? Because your country only consists of one particular religion. As far as ours, we have many religion that can be applied to anyone. Like it's up to them which religion they want to choose. So, however, we can also tell that both of our countries face serious impact due to the global pandemic. Because from what I know, Maldives kind of relying on tourism, right, when it comes to economy. So once this pandemic starts hitting your country specifically, definitely your country might be facing quite a downward slope in their economic growth. So basically, I get it because I love Maldives and their island. I've been there, and as you can see from my background, like I really do love Maldives because of their of the ocean. Actually, like literally their country is so beautiful in comparison to ours.
Baru nak tanya, kau kat Maldives ke?
Kau jangan macam-macam So basically, I really do hope that once this pandemic is over, like more people can visit your country, because basically that's what your country is famous for their tourism, like tourist spot, like the places, the islands, and also I remember I went scuba diving. I went swimming there. It was very pleasant. So, I forgot to mention, like, have you ever experienced any, like, what was the best experience that you had in our country before?
Malaysia. It's really hard to pinpoint because I've been all over the place. I've been north, south, east, west. So.
Oh, really?
But if I was to point out one thing that I really love about Malaysia would be the food. Mamak, yes.
Oh,
I miss Maggi goreng. I swear. Yeah.
So basically, the food is it.
You can find anything in Malaysia, right? So.
But you can't find what the islands that are available in Maldives.
We actually do have a restaurant called Mamak, which has opened up recently.
In Maldives?
Yeah, they do serve nasi lemak. They have Maggi goreng, but I haven't been able to try it yet, so I can't really be the judge yet.
Probably you will have to open one as well now, Ina.
Yeah, I mean, I have the recipe in here, so. Yeah.
Oh, thank God you studied in Malaysia for quite a long time. So basically, it was a pleasure to have you here for our assignment, like doing this interview itself. And basically, thank you so much for helping us with our assignments. And basically, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Inas.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.